Arcane, where we discuss whatever strikes our fancy. There tends to be a lot of alternative sports, but today it's going to be about books, and this is my annual Little Devil Awards, which is probably a little bit early because it's only November, but I'm going to go over the best and worst books that I've read this year. And I'm just going to ask a couple questions off the top, and hopefully people will put in the comments what they think. You know, are you an impulse reader or do you follow your TBR? I personally sort of work hard to grind through my TBR because there are books that I just think I should read, and sometimes they are zero fun. But what does it take for you to abandon a book? I don't like to, but if there's a book that's just unbearable, I will. And does it bother you when when a book has been on your TBR for too long? Which book has been on your TBR the longest, and will you eventually just delete it? I have this year returned to the United States after having been overseas for a while, and I have been able to burn through some books that have been on my TBR for a very long time, but there are a few that I think I'm just going to get rid of because I really, really don't want to read them. And so I wanted to start with a few honorable mentions. There are some really good books that just didn't make my top 5. For example, Coming Out Under Fire, which is gay history, mostly about gays in the military. What I was looking for were some examples of gays who were actually imprisoned. And, you know, I had always heard this story that there was a special facility in San Francisco, but apparently there was not. And I don't know. I just can't seem to find it. I'm currently reading Conduct Unbecoming, which is specifically about the gays in the military question, and it was written when that was a pretty hot topic. But so far I have not found any of that information, so if anybody has any of that, please let me know. Another great book, The Execution of Willie Francis, is about a young man, a boy actually, who was put in the Louisiana electric chair, but it failed to kill him when he was 17 years old. And within a year and a Supreme Court challenge, the deed was done. It's by the author of The Devil in the Grove. And I just wanted to say that the High Court of Arcane finds King not guilty of woke narrative-driven history, which I think there's a lot of today. I also this year read Dr. Henry Gates's Stony is the Road, and I do kind of think that he is a little bit guilty of that, especially because he is so fond of quoting Ibrahim X, but I have not read any Ibrahim X yet, so I can't really be too harsh on that. We've got The World of the John Birch Society, which was a really good book. The first 30 pages or so gave me pretty much everything that I was looking for, which was a history of the John Birch Society. That is very good. The rest of the book is about their short and long-term impact, but a very good book. If you're looking for information about the John Birch Society, that's a good book. I'm hoping to find some more. That's a topic of interest for me. Another book that I really enjoyed this year, Shaken by Tim Tebow. You know, until we get a picture of him surrounded by hookers with a face full of blow, I am impressed. He really knows how to preach, how to move people. He laid bare some of the worst moments of his professional life. And even if you are not religious, this book and Through My Eyes are worthy reads that will leave you motivated and maybe put things into perspective for you a little bit better. Tonight We Bombed the Capitol, which is about female domestic terrorism. And Marilyn Buck, which she is a figure that there just doesn't seem to be a lot of information about. One of the books in my top 5 is about Kathy Boudin, and there's several books about the Boudins. But like, there's a few people, you know, Bernadine Dorn, that there just isn't much about. I did want to say that every click is appreciated. You know, this endeavor of mine is here to try to drive traffic to some of our products. So please do take a look at the comments and give us a click or two if you can. But here we go, the Little Devil Awards for the worst books that I've finished. These are books that were just awful, but I did grind through them. Number 5, Bury Us Upside Down. I wanted information about a few bars in Asia during and shortly after the Vietnam War, and there was a little information about Madame Lulu's in Dien Bien Lao, but the writing was clunky. It would have been better as a Soldier of Fortune article or something like that. It's long. There's a lot of just badly written characterizations. This was a man who liked to be alone, that sort of thing. He was a lone wolf. Anyway, number 4 on my list of bad books was Agony in New Haven, The Trial of Bobby Seale, Erica Huggins, and the Black Panther Party. I was looking for information, maybe a photo about Alex Rakely, but this was mostly trial transcripts. So it didn't read very fluidly, and I didn't really get that much that isn't already readily available about the murder of Alex Rakely and the conspiracy that those people were charged with. On the plus side, it was one of the first books I put on my TBR when I joined Goodreads, so it was nice to get that done. Number 3 on my bad books list was William S. Cooper, Death of a Conspiracy Salesman. It's short. It's mostly Wikipedia stuff. I wanted information about his death, which was in a shootout with law enforcement. But even that was sketchy and underdeveloped. There just wasn't a lot there. Number 2, Pacifism as Pathology by Ward Churchill. This is what he's known for. This is the book that made him famous, and it's just word salad from start to finish. He played he played the education game all the way through, and this is your Marxist professor. This is what you see people like Turning Point complaining about, and I do think that he's got the kind of charisma. I've seen him speak. He's got the kind of charisma that a young, impressionable person could be influenced by, and also I think he's one of the things, this Marcusian theory that you see on college campuses with groups like Antifa and that sort of thing, is it's bullying people into political extremism. It is a strange situation. The worst book, and I almost abandoned this, it took me a long time to get through. It's awful! 2021 was the Algiers Motel Incident. It's non-linear. Entire sections are repeated. It's easily available online in digital format, but how it has gone 50 years without someone at least tightening up the writing a little bit is beyond me. I went looking for more information about this incident, which I caught as a reference in a newspaper article 7 years ago, and there's just not much there. Okay, so here we go. Now my 5 best, and there are a lot of books that cover the Boudins, like I had mentioned, but this one for a popular reading, unlike the one about her family, which was Family Circle. And there is some information about Marilyn Buck that I didn't really know before. Some physical descriptions, which there's not a lot of out there. Descriptions of the injury that she incurred in the Nyack Brinks truck robbery. That was important to me. That I got a lot out of that. So even though this is not really overly academic, it does have some good information that really worked. Number 4, Panzram, A Journal of Murder by Thomas Gaddis and James Long. This was hard to find. I couldn't even find it on PDF format when I was overseas because there it's cheap and easy for me to have those printed in book form so I can read through whatever. But when I got back, I got this through an interlibrary loan, and this is the story of probably the angriest man in history. It is an unbelievable story, very well told. If you get a chance, get it. I really, really enjoyed it. Number 3 on my list is Unmasked by Andy Ngo. I got this just because it's at the center of discussion right now, and it makes me appreciate journalists doing the work and taking the risk. I am kind of a fan of Project Veritas, basically because they've been so roundly badmouthed by the media, and everybody else in journalism is against these guys, and it makes so I went in looking for where they were wrong. Now Andy Ngo, he has taken a beating to get the story out there, and he provides a truly disturbing and detailed history of extremist violence, often condoned by the state and again little covered by the media. And this guy has taken several beatings to get the story out there, which he does really without trying to put it in a narrative that suits, his politics, I think. I mean, I find him not guilty of narrative-driven history. If you get a chance to read it, it reads like silk. Number 2 on my list, another one, not intended for academia, but The Lady from the Black Lagoon by Mallory O'Meara. This is definitely a somebody done, somebody wrong song, and Miss O'Meara has come to make it right. A little known piece of history, fully fleshed out, about the design, the woman who designed the creature from the Black Lagoon costume in the movie. So there's that movie history. I also finished a book about Jackie Chan just recently, which was very, very enjoyable. But basically, just because I like that kind of stuff, and one of the books that's going to go down in 2022 is Elvira's memoir, Cruelly Yours, I think it's called. But if you like that kind of stuff, this book reads like a dream. Anybody would enjoy it. And the best book that I read this year was another one that was very hard to come by, Haymarket by Martin Duberman. He's one of Howard Zinn's contemporaries, and he wrote Stonewall. He also wrote Howard Zinn, A Life on the Left. And I just wanted this book so bad, and it was so hard to find, that I actually purchased it. I actually bought it. Most of his work is nonfiction, but this is a fictionalized account of real-world events, and it is just spectacularly good. And it made real for me the Haymarket Square bombings of 1886. Please let me know. Please let me know what you think of my rankings, and if you would, what's the best and worst book that you have read in 2021? Again, have a great day. Please do like, subscribe, and share this anywhere you can. I'm really trying to get some attention on Book 2.